Meditating, it's not the absence of thought, not by a long shot. It's the focusing on one particular thought, often a mundane one, like just focusing and thinking of your breath. If you can control that, then you can open doors to controlling your thoughts, emotions, and if you can do that, well, then you have a superpower. So what is meditating? What are the benefits? How do you do it? Let's discuss. And let's start revving that engine. On location here in beautiful Palm Beach, Florida. The coldest day of the year with a pure temperature 42 degrees, but get this, the water temperature is an awesome 78 degrees. I was dipping my feet in there earlier. Today I'll be discussing the real benefits of meditation, how it works, how to do it, and because I think that the meditation community, well, we've done a shitty-ass job at describing it, and we make it harder than it is, and inadvertently we end up discouraging others from doing it, or just they just give up. As a Westerner, I've been meditating for over 7 years now, and it can still be enigmatic at certain points. As a divorce and recovery coach, though, one of the most common questions that I get on is Rene, how do I stop obsessing over her? I can't get her off my mind. My response is simple. Don't think about it. Then I pause for a second and say, literally, don't think about it. You meditate. Frankly, you should have started the practice of meditating from the moment you suspect that this relationship was falling apart. And actually, you should have started meditating even before these problems began. But then again, I do have the benefit of hindsight. Even months after meditating, I had several misconceptions of what meditation really was. One of them was that you're supposed to do it for a full hour without any thought entering your mind. You have to have a blank mind. And no, to the contrary, you're supposed to think. Your mind is going to wander. It has to. It's going to go all over the place. You go without any thought and you've just reached nirvana. And that's internal enlightenment. It's the Buddhist version of heaven. Another misconception was that I always thought meditating was for vegan hippies who toke acid, wear tie-dye hippie t-shirts, and talk slow and in absolutes. Awesome. Beautiful. We love everybody. It's the best thing ever, man. I think in any of my videos, I can't think of any of them that I speak in absolute, but what I'm about to say, hands down in my life, and I've done a lot, but hands down, meditation is the best thing I've ever done. Better than being a dad, than stop drinking, than working out, than becoming a divorce coach. And I can't think of anything better that I've done in my life than meditate. That's why I continue this practice, and I truly hope that you get this a fair try, because once you begin noticing the rewards, you will continue to do so, because it's like a massage for the brain, but the results are subtle, and then they start piling up. Now, I'm not going to give you this bullshit story of how meditation tripled my income, quadrupled my productivity, grew my hair back, and made me see an AK. If you're looking for a guru, I am not your guy, and you're watching the wrong video. Those guys, they're just full of shit, excrement. It made me better. It made me a better man, better human. It overall made me better. It fulfilled me, made me happier, more optimistic, focused. Because as you'll see, it decreases anxiety. It also helped me become more of a straight shooter, but with empathy. And if I had to put a number, if I really had to put a number of how much it improved me by, I'd say maybe 15 to 25%. But unfortunately, I can't quantify that. Now, the changes, they're subtle. I took on meditation because, well, there's no other way to put it, but I was a bona fide car-carrying alcoholic, a functional one, but nevertheless, it controlled me. I was alcohol's bitch. And to stop drinking, I tried antidepressants, naltrexone, Anabuse, hypnosis, acupuncture, and even good old Freudian psychoanalysis, which was, well, it was just a waste of my time. All you do is ramble for an hour, and when you ask them a question, they just respond with, "What do you think? What the fuck am I paying you for?" So I prayed. I mean, I really prayed. And had I been given a choice between winning the lottery or taking a pill to stop my addiction, I would have taken a pill any day. Hell, I would have even given a year of my life in prison if I had to. That's how pathetic and powerless I was. And little did I know what was going to happen next, though. Now, you may have heard the saying that when emotions and reasoning, when they collide, emotions will always win. You've probably seen it going through it right now. And alcoholism, it was kicking my ass. Until one day I read the effects of meditation on alcohol addiction, and it showed how meditation increased the connection of the prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain. And now, the prefrontal cortex is known to be the maturity center of the brain because, well, it's involved in mood, stability, and overall emotional intelligence. So not only does it increase the connection of your prefrontal cortex, but it simultaneously decreases the activity and it actually physically makes the limbic system smaller, right? And that's the part of the brain where emotions are created, where reasoning, it just goes out the window, and anxiety, guilt, impulsiveness, well, they all take place. See, 10,000 years ago, we needed this part of the brain more than our reasoning brain in order to avoid being hunted by a cheetah or a bear, and that's why it's so powerful. But we don't need the limbic system like we used to. We've evolved. We become social creatures. You can say that meditating literally makes your brain evolve. So not only is the reasoning center strengthened by the prefrontal cortex, but your emotions, they're being told to shut the fuck up by lowering activity and size of the amygdala, part of the limbic system. Can you see where I'm going with this? Meditation decreases your fear center. And I said this before, that fear is the most powerful of emotions. Whomever said that love is the strongest emotion, they're idealistic. They're full of crap. It's fear, it's anxiety, it's having to start all over, it's the loneliness, it's what's going to happen to me now. Fear is the most primitive of emotions. It's raw, it's powerful, so powerful that it threatens or prevents people to fall in love. So no, love doesn't conquer all, fear does. 10,000 years ago, fear would be the reason why you would survive, but love would be the reason why others that you love survive. So guess which one is stronger? Now, as a divorce and recovery coach, I'm surprised to hear the word love, that it comes off seldom. What I usually hear is this: I'm scared, man. Let me throw another word at you. Neuroplasticity, meaning that your brain regularly changes connection depending on your environment. You hang out with knuckleheads, you become a knucklehead. It's all the brain's connection. I could use Irvine. When I was earning my undergraduate in biology, we were just getting to know what happens inside your brain as we learn. And I had the pleasure of being trained by one of the guys in the forefront of neurophysiology. It was revolutionary. It was a breakthrough. Prior to this, we thought that as adults, our brains changes very little, if any at all. The brain, it's dynamic. It's always rearranging connections between neurons, for instance. Say I'm minding my own business, right? And then I see a couple over there, and they're whispering to each other amongst the whisper. This is what I hear. Where's Rene? You might not have heard anything, but your name got your attention. You learned your name since before we could speak. So it's ingrained inside of us. And every other sentence that they said, you may have gotten a few thousand connections, but when you heard your name, that got a few million connections in your brain, and it got your attention, and that's learning. That's neuroplasticity. And meditation leads to neuroplasticity in the prefrontal cortex and controls your emotions. But how does it work? How does meditating make you happier and in control? And we've all heard of transcendental meditation and guided meditation, and I've tried guided meditation, and I suppose that's where most people start, because, well, it's instructive. It comes with a how-to. I tried it, and 3 weeks later, I saw no difference. It just bored the fuck out of me, and I could only hear my spirit floating up and looking down on the earth so many times. I thought it just seemed repetitive. But if it works for you, you're a better person than me, because I gave it up. For the most common form of meditation, and here's another term for you, is called focus attention meditation. Focus attention meditation can be done anywhere, at the park, on an airplane like I did while flying to Miami, here at the beach. I usually do it at home, first thing in the morning while laying down listening to meditation music or with a neurofeedback gadget. Now, I do it for 10 minutes or more. That's it. That's how it began, actually. And then I noticed the benefits, and I took it up a notch or two. Focus attention meditation. It works like this. You're in a relaxed position. You close your eyes, you focus on your breath. You inhale. You hold it, exhale. And then you repeat the process. But almost immediately, your mind, it's going to drift somewhere else. Perhaps a sad thought is going to come up, like, crap, what could she be doing now? And you'll probably continue of that thought and forget that you're supposed to be meditating for a few seconds. And then suddenly you remember that what you're supposed to be doing. You stop that thought, you bring it back to your breathing. Maybe a breath or two will go, and then you get distracted again. Man, there's so much I need to be doing. And you continue with that thought. You continue with it, and a few seconds go by, and then you stop it. You stop, you work to break that thought, and you focus on your breathing again. You'll most likely focus on other thoughts like 95% of the time rather than your breathing while you're meditating. But focusing on your breathing, it's not the exercise of meditation. The exercise, or the rep, if you will, is when you stop the drifting, when you stop that thought and bring it back to your breathing. You don't have to focus on your breathing. It could be that small light you see when you close your eyes, or your stomach, it expands and contracts as you breathe. The exercise is the disruption of your thought, and bringing it back to focusing on something neutral, not good, not bad, not even creative, just your breathing. Think about it. If you can bring a strong thought, good or bad, and stop it, and bring it to something uneventful, tedious, like your breath, that's the beginning of the process of controlling your thoughts, and that's the beginning of your superpower. When done, you write it down, you log it, you say something like how long you meditated, and then something to the effect of oh, kept thinking of things I had to do, very anxious, sad thoughts. At first my thoughts were mostly negative or anxious thoughts, but they became overwhelmingly positive. After a few weeks, it started feeling like a massage for the brain. It felt really good. For a few minutes after meditating, I knew it was working because, well, although it only lasted for a few minutes, I was uber focused. It looked as though I was experiencing life in slow motion, like I was able to focus on a pencil or a blade of grass. It was beautiful. As time went, maybe 2 or 3 months, I was just more optimistic. And when driving, I would usually listen to music back then, but I started driving without the need to listen to anything, no music, just driving in tranquility, even in LA traffic. Soon I became a morning person. Even better, my mornings, they were just filled with optimism. My thoughts, they were now full of ideas, and the hard part was letting go of them ideas, because I had to meditate. So I had to let go of the good ideas for the meditation. There's so much I had to accomplish, but not in the anxious way, but in more like, let's start living. At around the 8 months, my dream came true. I won my lottery. I stopped drinking. Nothing bad had to happen. I didn't hit rock bottom. I just simply didn't want it. I didn't miss it. And that's an important point, because for addicts, when we have a special relationship with our substance, it becomes our friend, our love, our life. We're possessed. We're obsessed. Does that sound familiar? I surrendered. And I'll get back to that in a few. I found genuine inner bliss. I was content. I was kicking ass in every aspect of my way, and I stopped being scared. And I'll take it back. I didn't win my lottery. I kicked the lottery's ass. What I gained was much better than that. Bliss. So how do you get over the obsessing? Well, when my then wife, when she said that she wanted a divorce, I didn't know her reason. And I'm not going to say I didn't suffer. Of course I did. But hand to God, she was much easier to forget than I thought. Back then, I didn't know why she was leaving. So I tried to save the relationship, but it was just too abusive. What was incredible was my stoicism and how I accepted so much of that situation. It hurt like a motherfucker, but I had already started meditating a few years prior to that. It was as if my emotions in my life, they were laminated, protected. I felt fine. I was going to be okay. Now, here's where meditation comes into the picture. I upped my meditating sessions. Now, I went from 1 to 2 or 3 to 4 times a day sometimes. I had some bad days, but many were peaceful days, especially when she moved out. A week after she moved, I was given a gift. It was as if karma looked right at me and kissed me on the forehead, saying, I was too hard on you, son. I had the gift of letting go. Later, I found a reason for her leaving, and there's no other way to say it, but she just simply fell in love with someone else. I always wondered if I want to know if my spouse was having an affair. Turns out it was a blessing. I was soon welcome to find out it was karma, pardon me, because, well, I was completely disoriented, and soon enough, everything just made sense. Here's another term that you may have heard, but is often used incorrectly. Mindfulness. People think mindfulness is a type of meditation, and it's not. Mindfulness, it's a skill. Mindfulness, it's a way of being in which we're aware of our thoughts along with sensations and hold no judgment for that moment. But what the hell does that mean? I'm going to point out 3 benefits. First and foremost, that you're present. You're nowhere else. You're right where you need to be, and that's a hell of a way to live, because you pay attention to every moment and you're alive. Second, It's because you are present, you're uber focused. You're that sniper waiting for your opponent after 2 days of staying and being in position. You're that quarterback that knows exactly where to hit his receiver 23 yards downfield and better. You have no doubt that you're going to hit it, that it's going to land because you already see it happening. You're that confident. It's that times that you know that you can't miss. You're so focused. That's mindfulness. And to your original question, how do you stop obsessing over your ex? By definition, that's mindfulness. It'll give you that power. Just like I surrendered to my relationship with alcohol, the same will happen to you. Just like I surrendered to my ex, the same will happen to you. It's that jiu-jitsu move you learn to use when you find yourself in an inescapable situation. You surrender to your situation. But there is the problem that it does take time. It does take patience. But you learn it as you go. Gentlemen, I'm just a meat and potatoes kind of guy. I'm your average Joe. And the only difference that I did is that I did the research, the work, and I just started earlier. I started 7 years ago. It's through meditation that I discovered bliss. Not happiness, but bliss. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that you can do this and you're going to easily forget her, but you're going to improve on other aspects of your life. You'll pay more attention to your surroundings. You'll catch things quicker. Quicker? Faster. You realize that you're not your thoughts and you can control them, and better yet, that you have this badass can-do attitude. Meditation will change your life. You just have to stick to it. Gentlemen, I'm going to challenge you. Many of you, you're looking for a purpose. A lot of you, you're in pain. You're scared of mistakes. They're going to be made. If you're watching this video and decide not to meditate, that's your personal choice, and it's your decision, but the data is there. If you're struggling with a divorce, you never know. Perhaps karma is not punishing you, but rather it's giving you that kiss on the forehead saying that it's now your time to live. It happened to me. Gents, do yourself a favor. Start meditating. Also, why not join one of the fastest men's divorce support group on Facebook? It's so successful that there's actually a waiting list as I try to reach out to everyone before, well, as they request joining us. But just say you came from this channel and I'll fast track you in. Once joining, make a one-on-one with a professional divorce coach. This guy. Seriously, you need a divorce coach. Set something up. Both the links to the Facebook group and to the coaching is in the comment section on your knees. And you've been listening to me for what? The better part of 18 minutes? Why not subscribe to the Renaissance Man channel? What's holding you back? And I'm curious, if you meditate, how has it worked for you? And if you don't, are you going to be starting? Write it down in the comment section. Because, gents, it's time to start living again. Namaste. I know, it's hard to take me as a serious meditator when I'm wearing this shirt, but who would have thought, right? It works, guys. It really does work. Namaste.